Hello again and welcome back to Bad Habits. Alright guys, no messing around, I'm gonna jump right into this one. I feel like I just lived through a fever dream. I kind of forgot which 2 weeks I was on, and I was gonna do this 2 weeks on a video game, but then I remembered that I was supposed to do an anime, so I sat down in a single day and watched a whole anime. From start to end. So this month, the anime of the month is going to be the case study of Vanitas. And to be honest, the anime was rather good. I really enjoyed it. It was a very Sherlock Holmes type anime. If Sherlock Holmes was about vampires. So apparently in this world, the vampires are not just normal vampires that can survive during the day, and vampires didn't exist until a certain point in time where basically they did a whole Philosopher's Stone thing, and as they were learning how to use it, they accidentally recreated the world, which created vampires. But they can like survive in the sun like normal people, and they're not that much different besides they drink blood. Well, and maybe they have like some more powers, like they can shoot ice crystals, or like they're super strong, or something like that. And then you got the normal humans hate vampires thing, and they live in their own little mystical world where everybody's an aristocrat. You know, normal vampire stuff, but not vampires. It's kind of confusing. So this anime is about Vanitas and Noe. They meet pretty much episode 1, and then they start getting up to some adventures together. Noe is a vampire and Vanitas is a human with the powers of the Blue Moon. Apparently being a part of that Blue Moon clan gives you the right to rewrite everything in some way, hour form, but it's kind of limited and also confusing. So they basically get us some shit together. And Vanitas wants to cure all vampires from a disease that turns them into monsters and or / werewolf type people. Just stay with me, it gets weirder. And apparently Noe is just obsessed with this book of the Blue Moon that Vanitas uses and wants to learn more about it. So Noe joins Vanitas on their adventures trying to heal all vampire kind of this curse that inflicts them due to the vampire of the Blue Moon who originally owned the book that Vanitas is using. You starting to see why I said I feel like I lived through a fever dream? So apparently Noe is some noble or an orphan that some noble adopted and is able to take Vanitas, who's a human who's not supposed to be in the vampire realm, to the vampire realm to help them heal the vampires. This is after they traveled to France by Zabloon, which is really less of a balloon and more of a giant flying mechanical invention of some sort that flies off of mystical space bullshit. I don't know, flowers or rocks or something. That came about when people rewrote the world due to the Philosopher's Stone thingy-majig. So, realistically, the anime is just super confusing. Trying to keep up with it, you might as well just not enjoy the watch if you're interested in watching it in the first place. Like I said, it's very Sherlock Holmesy. It feels like I just finished reading a Sherlock Holmes book if I didn't have any clues through the Sherlock Holmes book. Like I just watched an episode of Scooby-Doo and I'm getting to the end and I'm just like, oh, well, that's why everything worked, but I still don't understand it myself. It's like they wanted it to be Sherlock Holmes, but all of the information's inside of one person's head and there was like no clues leading up to it, so you don't figure it out and they're just like, aha, this is the reason. And you're just a viewer sitting behind the TV going, okay, I guess that's the reason. Dude obviously knows more about his universe than I do. And like I said, I kind of enjoyed the anime. It was a nice watch. I watched it all in one go, so I still have it like rattling around in my head. But you know, I'm gonna be real, that Sherlock Holmes aspect only works out if like you can kind of build up on the clues as you're going and you're just like, you know, you're thinking about it the whole time, like, oh, who can be at fault? But when only one person in the show knows what's going on and everyone else is just as clueless as the person watching, it doesn't really work out. But how did they cover that up, you may ask? Well, that's easy, dear viewer. With fight scenes. And love triangles. And truth be told, wonderful voice acting. Though being realistic, it's kind of hard to keep up with the whole story, especially since it switches like 4 times through the whole anime. You're watching it and you're just like, ah, that's the main bad guy, and then suddenly something happens and that person gets thrown completely out the window. You never even finish anything that guy was working on, and there's another bad guy now. Or like whole episodes where you're finding out a single piece of information that was not important at all to the plotline. Or whole scenes that you're watching and you're just like, what is this leading up to? And then it fades from everybody's mind that scene even existed. Like I said, the whole anime is very random and weird. The fight scenes were okay. They were decent. You know, I'm not gonna say they were you know, top grade ones, and the fight scenes never really lasted any longer than maybe half an episode. And most of it was just like, you know, Vanitas or Noe trying to explain the situation, what was going on. The love triangles were great though. Those were pretty good. I enjoyed the whole teasing aspect of the whole thing, and like, you know, they took a really 18th century approach to the love triangles. Like, what should I do in order to make them love me? Write them a letter, of course. It was just a weird anime all in total, and after I finished watching the whole thing, just being honest, I don't really know what was going on. Like I said, there was whole bad guys that were the bad guys for like a half of the season, and then suddenly they never show up again and they didn't matter. Then there was whole bad guys who showed up and caused a hell of a ruckus, fighting back and forth with everybody, and like the next episode they show up again and it's like, oh, we'll just let them get away. And then Vanitas' morals are really wishy-washy. One episode he's just like, I'm a doctor and I'm here to fix all the vampires, and the next episode he's just like, yeah, it's okay if a few of them die. In truth, now that I'm really thinking about it, I'm not even sure the anime was all that good. I may have just enjoyed it because I was enjoying it. I really liked the voice acting. It was kind of funny all the way through it. Like, they made a whole bunch of references all the way through the anime that were just kind of funny to me, and the voice actors were very playful. It was like, you know, you'd hear them say stuff all the time that just kind of made you chuckle. But the script kind of felt like there was like 6 people working on one script, and everybody had a different idea on how it was going to end, and it just kind of ended up weaving back and forth through what was important and what was not, and then really none of it ended up being important in the end anyways. Like, I got to the last episode of the whole anime and they only really fixed one problem, and that didn't even fix the core problem. It just kind of saved somebody and they just called that good. It's kind of like Superman came to save the day, and he saves Lois, and he just, you know, lets Lex Luthor continue to destroy the city. You know, they got their goal. They achieved what they wanted to achieve. They got Lois. Now nothing else matters. Like, there's a lot of plots going on right now and a whole bunch of evil people out there, but we're not going to stop any of them. We're going to save this child here and let them continue on their rampage. Meanwhile, they're like personal stories are like so serious. Like, every single character in this show has PTSD from something that happened to him as a child. Everything from not being loved by your parents to your best friend dying, to being an orphan, to you know, losing an arm at the age of 3. Everything kind of shows up as a backstory when they were children, which really kind of makes sense because, you know, in the 1800s, I don't imagine being a child in the 1800s was actually like the best time to be a child. Father, can I have an apple? We can't even afford bread, you little shit. Get back to the coal mines. So really, I just really don't know what to think about the anime. Honestly, I don't want to call it bad because the animation was good and I enjoyed watching it, but if it's not bad, it definitely wasn't good. Like, maybe if they actually finished up one of the storylines, I would have been like, yeah, okay, I get it, we're like, you know, we're moving forward. But they didn't. And I'm just left with way more questions than I started with. And there's a lot of questions that I had to start with. I mean, with the whole vampires being created from the Philosopher's Stone in a book, a magic book that just changes reality, and there's just a lot of questions to start with, and they made me want to ask more questions after we're done. So honestly, guys, if you guys want to give it a watch, you know, give it a watch. You're gonna be left confused. I'm not saying it was bad. It wasn't horrible, but like I said, the story wasn't there. The animation was just fine. The fight scenes were decent at best. The voice acting on par. It was great. Some of the things they said was just very humorous to me. But voice acting does not make a good anime most of the time. But like I said, guys, if you're truly interested in watching this anime, go watch it. Go have yourself a good time. Like I said, it's not horrible. Animation's great, and it's a good story. It's a good story to, like, you know, watch through. It just doesn't go anywhere. You know, walk into it expecting nothing. But I'm not gonna call it the next best and greatest anime that's out there. It's no DBZ, it's no Naruto, it's no One Piece. Definitely no Spice and Wolf. But that is all I have to say about this anime this month. We'll be getting to another video game coming up, and it's a brand new video game that just came out. I already have it recorded and set to do. Tune in next 2 weeks to check it out. We'll have that video up and ready. This 2 weeks was, you know, kind of odd with the anime that I watched, but that's okay. That's okay. They can't all be winners, right? So you guys have a fantastic evening. I will try to continue my fantastic evening, and we will be seeing you next time when you join us right here on Bad Habits. Bye.